Hey guys, welcome to episode 23 of Between the Lanes. I'm Ralph.
And I'm Ron.
How you guys out there today?
Oh, here in Anderson,
Yeah.
it's about 28 degrees, and we had some freezing ice this morning. School was canceled, and other than that, we've been okay. 50 in 2 days, 50 degrees in 2 days.
We had our big snow the other week, our big 2 inches. So
Snow-ageddon, they called it, I think.
yeah, we were shut down for at least 2 days. Post office closed, schools closed, everything for 2 days. So
Yep, no plows.
yeah, no salt on the roads. So all right, well, thank you guys for tuning in again this week. Can't believe it's been 23 episodes already.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool. Thank you guys for sticking around, sticking with us, and still commenting and liking the show. This week we got a couple new things, and we got a little video Ron's gonna have for us with some more history on it.
No video.
Well, pictures.
Okay.
Pictures, right?
Pictures.
That's what I meant. Yeah. Okay. All right. Before we get into that, do you want to get started with the race results?
Yes, let's get started with race results.
Okay.
We start the show off every week. So we're going to start off with the AWRA, and they were at Archdale, Archdale Slot Car Raceway, I believe is what it's called. And in the sportsman class, Charles Eldridge was the winner. And little Jaden there on the left was second, and George was third. And aren't those the father-son guys we met down at Durham? When we was at Hobby Max?
Oh, I don't recall.
I'd asked about the jig and stuff. I'm thinking that.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. When we asked about the jig, there you go. Yeah, I think so.
And then in the Legends class, Charles won again with Tim second and Frankie third. And I apologize for having no last names, but there was no last names mentioned in any of the race results. And for that, Charles got the Broom Award for sweeping the day's events.
Sweeping the day.
And then Yuska was at Speedville Slot Car Raceway, Bartonville, Illinois. And don't have any pictures. So in IndyCar, Toby Kindig was the winner. Bill Sabenik was second, and Bruce Adamson was third. And in Slot Car, Toby again was your winner with Bill in second and Scott Morgan in third. And then Can-Am.
Looks like a nice little track.
Yeah, definitely a good, fast-looking hill climb there. Or grandstand, I should say. On Can-Am, Bill Sabenik was the winner. Toby was second. Bruce Adamson again was third. In the production class, Toby was your winner with Bill in second and Bruce in third. And some viewers might remember the name Bruce Adamson. Bruce originally was from Canada. He's an old-time Group 7 racer. Used to race for Team Cayman. And, kind of moved around the country at times, and he's been in Illinois for a few years now. So it's good to see Bruce racing, even though it's not Group 7 cars, but he's still racing. So then Penn, Ohio Retro Series was at HMS Speedway on the American King track this weekend. And all I got for results was I just seen the winners posted. Can-Am was won by Greg Fox. Formula One and Stock Car was won by Cap Henry. And the Triangle Slot Racers Association was at Concord. And in the LMP class, it was Randy McNulty, your winner, with Teddy Hoot second, and Walker McNulty third. And GTP, Walker in the center was your winner, with Anthony Brown second and Teddy Hoots in third. And in Stock Car, Walker won again with his dad, Randy, in second and Teddy in third. And then Retro East, along with in Jersey Series, they raced at Fast Track Hobbies last Saturday and Sunday. And in Retro East Stock Car, the winner was Adam Chaya. Ed Soll was second, and Brian Cochran was third. There's a picture of the track. And then Can-Am, Brian Cochran was the winner, which is also known as X-Pro, Brian X-Pro. Ed Soll was second, and Pat Skagg was third.
Now, they raced on back-to-back days together?
Yes.
I wonder how many crossovers they had.
Don't know. I didn't really look to see. And the Penn Jersey Series, NASCAR Series, raced on Sunday. And in the trucks class, Jerry Herbert was your winner with Joe M. second, and John S. was third. I think that was Streisguth.
Yeah.
And the Cup class, Jerry Herbert Jr. was the winner with John second, and I believe that was John Mattis. Again, no last names. And then Preston was third. And
Okay.
then at Port Jeff Raceway, the world-famous Port Jeff Raceway, they had a Northeast USRA wing car race. Again, no pictures, but one motor 12 was won by Justin with George second and Nick in third. One motor group 15 was Big Daddy, and the only Big Daddy I know in that area is Keith Keeler, so I'm going to assume that was Keith Keeler. Justin was second, and Nick was third. 27 Light, Big Daddy was your winner with Bob second and Evan third. And two motor open, Timmy was first, Doug was second, and Bill Skinner was third. And then the NorCal USRA raced at Slot Car Raceway in Roanoke Park, California. And from what I can make out, I'm not going to go there yet. From what I can make out, LMP Jason Hooper was the winner with Rick Dodge in second and Ryan Vegas McDaniel in third. And GT12, Paul Goronsky was the winner. Ryan McDaniel was second. Jason Hooper was third. And there was a third class race, but I don't know what it was because I didn't see any cars or anything like that. So in the third class they raced, Ryan was the winner, Rick Dodge second, Jason Hooper was third. And then the B&E Crosstown Challenge was at Chicagoland in Chicago area this weekend, or last weekend. And they raced on the Fiedler Flat. They raced Super Stock. Neil Eisler was your winner, Jim Kreider second, Ken Eisler third. And then the Pony Stock class was ran on the King with Neil Eisler winning, Jim Kreider second, and Taylor was third. And the Buckeye Retro Series, along with the Midwest Slot Car Series, was at Tri-State Raceway in Middletown, Ohio. You've been here, Ralph. We were just there in August.
Yep.
And the Retro Angle Winder class, this kind of gets confusing, but this was the overall podium. I won, Richard T was second, and Andy Quattromoni was third. But in the BRS Retro Angle Winder, racers have a choice of either running a big dog motor or a FK motor. So Rich and myself, we ran big dogs, and Andy ran a FK. And we had 9 entries, and 3 were big dogs, and 6 were FK motors, ProSlot FK motors. So this was the FK podium with Andy the winner, Tom Green second, and Scott Brandenburg third. And the big dog podium was me, Rich, and then Craig Scharfenberg. And then in Can-Am, I was the winner again with, this is F1. I was the winner in F1, and Joe Ligori was second, and Richard T was third. And then Can-Am, I was the winner with Richard T second, and Craig Scharfenberg third. And the GTP class, Joe Ligori was your winner with Alex Junko second, and Andy Quattromoni in third. Boom, winning. So then, maybe this was the race you talked about a couple of shows ago or something, about the 64-car shootout and all the money. But this is the results from the Wild Winter Shootout at Rods and Rails in Tullahoma, Tennessee. I have no idea where that's at.
Yeah.
The 64-car shootout, your winner was Kendall Gillespie, and the runner-up was Champ McCrory.
Yeah, old champ.
Okay, and the semi-winners was Will Henley and Peanut. And I don't know if that's Will or Peanut on the end there, but they got all their cash laying out there in front of them. And then in the main event, Little Rat was the winner, the runner-up, and he won both semis. And he won all the light money. I know he won like one round of light money, and these other gentlemen won other rounds. I think there was round money in 4 rounds. And then they said that Little Rat took all the round money. So they must have had so much for each round, then a big pot for the overall winner. but
Yeah.
a lot of cash laying out there on the drag strip. So
Little Rat and Champ, they're both very good bracket racers.
okay,
So
cool. So say it, Ralph.
Sunday.
We got a couple of big races coming up this week, and the first one is the Hillbilly Nationals down at Slot Cars Are Us in White House, Tennessee. It's a wing car race, fastest king in America, and that starts tomorrow night and goes through Sunday. And then on this weekend, starting on Friday and running through Sunday, is the 10th annual Checkpoint Cup at Buena Park Raceway, hosted by the Southern California Retro Racing Association. And,
yeah, I can't believe that's here already.
well, I hear you. And then other races this weekend, we got the Drag Winter Nationals at Bullitt Raceway. We've got the GUR at P1 Raceway, New England Retro Racing at Modelville. We got Great Lakes Retro at the track in South Bend. You got the OCC Ohio Challenge Cup Series at Tom Thumb Hobbies in Columbus. You got the Czechoslovakian or the Czech Nats in Pilsen. You got the Australia Day Classic down in Australia. And the AWRA is at Thunder Road in Saluda, Virginia, I believe is how that is pronounced. So there's your race results and races for this weekend. And last week you asked about the TOA.
The TOA, yeah. And I had a couple of listeners send me pictures of some of the TOAs that they had, and they still had them and stuff like that. So that was
okay. So there's 10 years of newsletters, and in the upper left would be the first year, and then second year at the going from left to right across the top, and the lower right's the last known issue as far as I know. Yeah, I went through I got in the vault and pulled out one of the bins that I had all these in, and kind of
your vault must be pretty big.
Yeah, it's too big, but too much junk. But yeah, I was going through some of those last night, just kind of breezing through them and reminiscing. A lot of history in those newsletters as far as like when new products came out. And
how many pages was like a typical newsletter?
Well, when we go up here to the first year and all these years through here, they were pretty thick. I mean, we're talking some of those could have been 100 pages. I mean, they were like 50 pages back to back. And not all of it was slot car related. I mean, Ray Gardner did a tremendous job for many, many years of doing that newsletter every month. And there was news, and then there was kind of, I'll say gossip, but not gossip, but it was like there was complaints, and Ray had a unique way of sometimes putting pressure on manufacturers to change maybe things, that the way they made things, or maybe something they should make. And it was kind of like there was just like a section of the magazine that really had no title, but I always called it like the rag section. So,
right.
There was like, like Joe Blow from ABY Raceway called me, and he made a suggestion that, Parma should go to 9-tooth pinions on their ready-to-run cars. And, it was always, you got to remember, a lot of this, back then, I mean, we didn't have the internet. I mean, basically these newsletters are kind of like the Facebook of today, but
right,
they were in print. So, for all the good, the bad, the ugly you see on Facebook, you kind of see it in a lot of these newsletters at times. And so, you would ask me, I mean, this is the copy of the first issue, and cover.
Was this the cover?
That was the cover of the first issue, March 1992, Volume 1, Number 1. And this was the copy or the cover of the last issue. Now, I'm gonna use that term loosely because, as far as I know, that was the last issue. again, maybe I didn't pay my dues or quit paying my dues, and I didn't get any issues after that. But I'm pretty sure that was the last issue, was January 2001. And if we go back to this, I mean, it was the TOAA, Track Owners Association of America. And then I guess in about the 6th year, they just shortened it up to TOA, Track Owners Association, because that's what everybody called it, was the TOA. So you can kind of see like how the logo kind of changed. I mean, there was really no years, and then we had this, and we got down the checkered flag kind of wreath thing. So here's a copy of the association bylaws. TOA was founded in 1991, and the first convention was held in 1993, and that was held in Enid, Oklahoma at Eagle Distributing. The second year was held at Cleveland, Ohio, 1994, St. Louis in 1995, Orlando in 1996, Philadelphia in 1997, and they went to Reno in 98, and Indianapolis 1999. And this is probably a 99 copy.
They had it pretty well planned down in advance
of the bylaws. And I was going to say there was a convention in 2000 and 2001, and just to give you some numbers, in the first year they had 106 Raceway members. So like in 1993 or 1992, 106 Raceway signed up to be in the TOA. And of course you had manufacturing members and stuff like that. I didn't really look at those numbers, but I think the most members they probably ever had in a year's time, or the most they ever had at one time, because at the end, like in 99, they only had 91 paid members, or 91 paid raceways. But on that list, some of those raceways had joined in 92 or 93, and they just continued to pay their dues. So it's really hard to get a exact number of how many raceways were actually signed up per year. But I don't think it was much more than 120 at any given point. It might have been the maximum raceways that were signed up. And you're talking in that time frame, I mean, we had anywhere from probably 300 to 600-700 raceways. So the percentages of raceways that were signed up compared to the number of raceways wasn't very high. And then like in 1993 at the first convention, they had 40 raceway owners were on hand, and there was 16 manufacturing booths. 1994 in Cleveland, they had 85 raceway owners there, and I could never find an exact number on how many booths. I think it was 48 booths.
And okay, so at the annual meetings, I mean, what exactly would go on? Would they like vote on things, or
like what was a typical TOA convention like?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, they kind of changed a little bit over time. I wasn't at the first one. Basically, you had what happened in Cleveland was, and I think that was the biggest TOA convention. Like I said, there was 85 raceway owners there. There was like 48 booths. So you had 48 manufacturers showing stuff. So like the show would be open certain hours of the day for all the raceway owners and everyone to go onto the show floor, if you will. And it was held in a hotel. And you basically went in a big meeting room, and everybody had tables. And, they displayed their wares on the tables, and maybe they had some back display area behind them. And
now this was like manufacturers would display their stuff?
It was manufacturers display. And when I say manufacturers, I mean there was of course, like JK, Mira, Parma, Champion, and then you might have like Lapmaster Timing Systems might have had a booth, and the distributors would have booths, and maybe a magazine or two would have a booth, like Scale Auto Racing News might have a booth, and Slot Car Bulletin might have a booth. So,
Okay.
So then the show would be open certain hours of the day, and the other times of the day they would have seminars where they would have like guest speakers that would speak on a subject, and there could be 2 or 3 different seminars a day. One might be about business basics, like how to do your taxes and control your inventory. And I know one year one big deal was like point of sale systems, how your Raceway should have a point of sale system. And then at some of the conventions, every convention that I was at, they always had 1 or 2 slot car tracks. And like the 94 convention in Cleveland, that was the 30th anniversary of Parma, and that was the introduction of the Flexi 2 at that convention. So Chris Dadds had a orange track there that he had built, and we had like demo races with the Flexi 2 on that track. And then I know there was another track there. I don't remember what it was, but then there was tracks for races for the visitors. Like Raceway owners would get on a track and they would have races. It was a lot of fun, and they would break at certain times for everyone to go have dinner.
Right.
Really no activity going on. So that was kind of how the conventions were, as I remember them. Like I said, there were seminars. Sometimes there was races, and then there was the hours that the show floor was open. So, and then there would be times there would be maybe some manufacturers meetings where the manufacturers go off and have a meeting amongst themselves and the distributors or whatever. So, and then of course there was TOA meetings that the TOA members themselves would have to be at to discuss TOA business. And there was something else going on that the rest of us filled our time with, or did things. So like I said, in St. Louis there was 81 raceways present with 48 booths. In 1996, when he went to Orlando, there was only 57 raceways present and 39 booths. In 97, when he went back to Philadelphia, there was 32 booths and 52 raceways. In Reno, there was 32 booths and 34 raceways present. And then in Indianapolis was in 1999, there was 19 booths, 32 raceways present. And in 2000, I kind of remember that convention kind of being put together at the last minute, but it was held during the Challenge Cup Nationals race. And there was only like 16 booths. And I have no count on the raceways, but I know in that newsletter that reported on that convention, it said that the raceway attendance was horrible. And I don't think there was very many raceway owners there. And then there was the last convention, again, thrown together at the last minute, was in 2001 at Cleveland. And I think there was only 4 or 6 booths that were rented. Wow.
So it pretty much steadily declined.
Yeah, and it's like I remember when we went to St. Louis, there was the infamous meeting between manufacturers and distributors, and I'm not going to go into the details, but things got really, really ugly in that meeting, and some people did not come back to the convention after that and never display again. So,
how are you going to do that?
Well, it's like
tease some epic story and say, but I can't tell you about it.
Well, basically, it was same shit, different day. A manufacturer got called out for selling direct to raceways because the distributors weren't either buying or stocking enough of that particular manufacturer's stuff, and a little bit of a confrontation took place, and some loud yelling, and everybody else sat there and just didn't know what to think. And it was an unfortunate situation, and
Yeah. So same stuff we deal with now.
yeah, nothing changes. So, it was kind of interesting too. We talked about track history and stuff a couple episodes ago, but
Uh-huh.
in 1992, in the second issue, it listed 6 track builders in 1992. One was John Ford, American Tracks, Chris Dadds, Damon DePron, Hasse Nelson, Ogilvy, and the Tunkles.
Okay.
They were all building tracks in 92. And I can't remember any other track builders other than those 6 over the next few years.
Well, I noticed they had Bob Scott on one of the magazines.
Yeah, and Bob Scott came later, of course, and then
Right.
you had like Monty in that time frame. He built a few tracks in California, but I don't think he ever was nationwide or maybe capable of delivering nationwide. Silky was another one that came later, and so yeah, that's kind of some TOA history. They tried to put the TOA back together 2002-ish, because like in 2001 the thing just fell off. I mean, it just fell off the face of the earth. I mean, there was no newsletters, there was nobody knew nothing. Then they had a little mini convention in 2001 in Cleveland again, and they talked about working towards getting it back together and then having a convention in 2003, and nothing ever happened.
So how much was a TOA membership at the time?
I don't recall, but I know when they tried to renew it or try to get it going back in 2003, it was going to be $60 for a Raceway and $100 for manufacturers. And I'm thinking that's about what it was from the get-go.
Right.
92, 93 when they started doing the membership thing. And I know when we were in Cleveland in 2000, what I would call the last true TOA convention, there was a meeting between the distributors and the manufacturers, and I think there was 13 or 14 of us present at that meeting. And we were asked to pay, if I remember right, $1,500 a piece.
Whoa.
For, I guess, the year 2001. And
Bet that went over good.
Well, we sat at a big, long, conference type table, and they started on one side, and it was kind of like 7 yays, and when I got to my side of the table, I think I was the first one to say no. And, it's kind of one of those deals, one guy's in, the rest are in, but we're all sitting there looking at each other going, what are we going to gain from this?
Right.
I remember this thing for 10 years or 8 years. And don't get me wrong, I think the TOA was a good thing, and I think having a yearly show is a good thing. But the TOA was anti-race for so many years in the beginning that when the 1999 convention came along in Indy, Rick Bernardo, who was running USCA at the time, scheduled a race in the same hotel on the same weekend to prove to the TOA, if you have the raceway owners there and you bring racers in and you let them in the show to see things, even if you charge them $5 a head to get in or something, I mean, you're getting more stuff out there to the people. So it just opens the show up to more people, because it was always a closed show. If you weren't a raceway owner or a manufacturer, you couldn't go to the show.
Right.
And you couldn't be a racer and be a member. You had to have a raceway. So it was kind of a closed door deal. And it's kind of I don't know what the word is. It was kind of strange to look at some of the old raceways that were members and remember how nice and how deluxe of raceways they had, and they still didn't make it.
Right.
And I don't think there's very many raceway members from the TOA that are still open today. Like Jim Honeycutt would be one. P.A. Watson would be one if he was a member. I didn't recall seeing his raceway as a member. Yes, there's just a handful of raceways that are still open today that were open back then. Buena Park Raceway is another one. I mean, it went through a ownership change, but it's still there.
Right.
So there's not a whole lot of raceways that was TOA members that are still open and in business today, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, I understand what you're saying, yeah.
And on the other hand, there's raceways that are open today that were open then that were never TOA members, because a lot of raceways didn't see any value in being a TOA member at the time. And I don't know if a TOA would make it today or not. I don't know I don't know. So, any other questions on the TOA?
No, I mean that's pretty interesting, I think,
Okay.
I like it.
Okay.
I mean, it would be cool if somehow if there was some kind of a like slot car super show still today. I mean, I would go, but with the internet, I mean, I don't know how feasible that would be for anybody,
Right.
But it's pretty cool though.
The TOA shows were always usually in August. And the idea of like, okay, like when you look at the HIA show, which became the RICTA show, which became the Chicago Hobby Show, which I think now is the iHobby show in Chicago every year. I mean, that show's been going on since the 60s, maybe the 50s,
right.
I don't know. But, at least since 1990, that show always took place in October. And the idea was you come there, you show all your new stuff for the upcoming season, because the season starts in late October and runs through March. So you don't release stuff like in June and July and May. You save it for the show and get big orders for it. And that was kind of the idea behind the TOA convention being in the summertime. It was slow and stuff. But I think at the same time, having the convention in the summertime was bad, because a lot of raceways just don't have money in the summertime, so they can't afford to travel.
Yeah, I mean, that's typically the slow time of year for everybody.
So. That was another thing with show location, because the first one at Enid was cool because all the raceways that were members could go actually visit Eagle Distributing,
right,
and get a behind the scenes look at a distributorship and all that stuff. And then when it was held in Cleveland, it was held in the Midwest, where the biggest concentration of raceways usually are. Right. So you had a lot of raceways that were close by. And St. Louis was the same thought. It was more towards the middle of the country, but still in the Midwest, but closer to the West Coast. And then they went to Florida, which the whole attraction there was Disney World.
Vacation spot.
Yeah, and that kind of flopped. I mean, you went from 81 raceways the year before down to 57, and you lost almost 10 manufactured displays. And I just remember it was kind of expensive to go, because if I remember right, the convention was actually held on Disney property, and the hotel rooms were higher and everything else. And then the thought was, well, let's go back to Philadelphia next year, because it's the East Coast and there's a large concentration of tracks there. But it was in the decline mode at that point. And then when they went to Nevada, Reno, I think, nothing against Reno, I just think that really killed it, because it was it was just on the decline. So there's some history on the TOA, Track Owners Association. So if that's it, we're going to move along. You want to move along?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So we, 2 and 3 episodes ago, we did American Raceway's history.
Yep.
So, because we don't know exactly how many tracks American Raceways built, and it's kind of a guesstimation.
We've tried to guess, we've tried to figure it out, but it's hard to really know for sure,
But I was sitting here the other day and I'm thinking, okay, if they did 3,000, if they built, or their contract shops built 3,000 tracks in 5 years, from 63 through 67, how many tracks is that a week? Okay, so That would come out to 11 and a half tracks a week if they sold 3,000 in 5 years.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of sawdust.
Wow.
Okay, and if they did 1,000 tracks in 5 years, that's 4 tracks a week. And basically, if you're doing 3,000 tracks in that time, that's making 1.5 tracks a day for 5 years.
Wow. And that's between how many locations, manufacturing locations?
2.
Okay.
Los Angeles and Chicago.
Wow.
So that was just a little thing I was like sitting here the other day and I'm thinking, man, if they built 3,000 tracks in 5 years, man, how many is that a week or a day? I mean, that's like, and even at 1,000, like I said, 1,000 is 4 tracks a week. So,
yeah.
And if you go in between there, I mean, you're between 4 and 11, you're at about 7 a week.
I wonder what their profit. I wonder what their profit was per track.
Well, it had to be pretty big because I just before we went on show, I thought, well, what's if the average track was $7,000, okay, and you built,
you would think that at least half of that.
That was $21 million total revenue in 5 years, or basically about $4 million a year revenue, which would be 20 to 25 adjusted for inflation today. That's a lot of revenue.
Yeah, I wonder if their just operating costs were just so astronomical that it just really ended up not being profitable. Even though it sounds like a big number, because you know how many people were building the tracks, stuff like that. I don't know, but
you're right. Right.
But when you just when you think of the overall number, like you just said, you're like, wow. I mean, how could they be out of business so quick?
Right. Well, like I always said, they oversaturated the market. I mean, Raceway would open and close in 2 years, and there's Raceways for sale. So if you go buy a used track, that takes away a new track sales from them. And I think it just got to the point in 3 to 4 years or so, there were more used tracks available than any one person could go buy at that time. And then you throw in all the other track builders. We don't know how many tracks Engelman built. We don't know how many tracks, Grand Prix built. All those other companies we talked about. So, yeah, it was kind of crazy. So,
well, I know we've been the troops have been patiently awaiting the official FNRS schedule announcement, and we meant to get this out sooner, but unfortunately, it's just not as easy as us picking a day and a time. We have a lot goes into consideration of the place and the track and the time, and there's other series racing, and the tracks have to be available. So we were finally able to kind of work things out here, and.
Well, you're really prepared, aren't you?
Well, I couldn't get out of the meeting screen there. Sorry. So all right, so we announced on Facebook the other day, the first race of our second season here is going to be February 24th at Hobby Max in Durham, North Carolina. That's exactly 1 month from now. We do expect that to be a pretty good turnout, especially with all the racers in the area.
Yep.
And then the second race will be April 14th, and that will be at Mark's Model World in Canton, Ohio. We are working on a date for June. We're not 100% sure what we're going to do in June. We might have a race. We might not. In August 11th, we will be at Staunton Mentor Speedway in Virginia. October 13th, we're going to –
and that's a track we haven't been at. But
right, yeah, that's a new track for the series.
Yeah, it should be cool because it's in a shopping mall and stuff. So,
yeah, and we're hoping to get some of the Penn Jersey guys. Maybe we can entice some of those guys to come down as well. Yeah. So we're hoping for good things out of Staunton. October 13th, we're gonna go return to Tri-State Raceway, and that's in Ohio,
Middletown.
Yep, Middletown, Ohio. And then we're going to close out the season November 3rd at Fast Eddie's down in Florida again in the Tampa area. So it's a pretty we got 6 races, 5 for sure, possibly 6. Basically, we try to schedule them out every 2 months to give guys a break in between and collect some funds or do other racing and whatnot. And we try to spread it out. The majority of our racers seem to be from the Ohio or the Carolina area. So we kind of wanted to give the Carolina guys a second race. So we appreciate all their support. We appreciate everybody's support, but the Carolina guys and the Ohio guys definitely made up the majority of our fields for sure. I spoke to a lot of the Florida guys. They want to do some traveling. I know they're going to try to come to probably either the North Carolina race or the Virginia race. So yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty good
season.
Pretty good season. Yeah, right now we have no major rule changes right now. Nothing going on at the moment. So basically bring what you raced last year to the next race here in a month, and let's have fun.
Yep, that's what it's all about.
So of course we're always looking at things. We always take people's suggestions. We always look at what's going on in the industry and the marketplace, and we take everything in consideration. So we got a lot of stuff we're working on. We always talk about things. So right now we got just what we did last year, basically same rules.
Yep, whatever he's running last year is legal again.
Yep. Of course, the chassis submissions basically were froze until 2019, but there hasn't been anything new out anyway.
Right.
So really hasn't been anything major new out, I don't think, that I can think of in any category. So, yeah, I'm excited. I haven't raced anywhere since November, so I'm ready to go again. So
was Florida your last race?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah.
I haven't raced anything.
So speaking of that, because I know you where you're at, and I don't, in Georgia area, there's not a whole lot of raceways, and there's really not a whole lot of organized racing going on, so to speak. So, any idea where the Speed Zone Peachtree City tracks went to?
I heard they went to the Orlando, Florida area.
Okay.
And it's rumored that they're going to become part of kind of like a fun center type thing, where the guy wants to have some slot car tracks and some other amusement things like arcades or whatnot. I don't know a lot of details. That's all I know, really. It's going to go to. It's
more rumor than anything.
Yeah, there's a rumor that's going to Orlando. Basically, is what I heard.
Okay.
Which it's interesting because you would think if you go buy all those tracks, you would think you want people to know that they're going to be out there, but.
And sometimes you got to buy the track now, even though if you're not going to get the building for 6 months.
Well, I would say, he might not. Who knows when this place might open too?
Right, because sometimes if you don't get the tracks when they're available, and 6 months later you go back to get the tracks, they're no longer available.
Yeah.
So, if he bought them and then something doesn't happen, he can always try and sell them.
Yeah, but as well as we've seen this happen before where a lot of people have the best of intentions, but
right. And I heard
it don't work out,
Right, and I heard Matt Sheldon is going to acquire that old orange track up in Michigan.
I did not hear that.
Okay, well, somebody had said something to me, I think yesterday, that they thought Matt was going to go get that. So,
well, I saw a couple people talking about maybe,
right,
but I didn't hear anything for sure.
Well, like I said, somebody had said, well, I heard Matt was going to go get it. So,
obviously, it'd make a great addition.
Yeah, to the American King.
It looked pretty rough, though.
Yeah, well, it's definitely going to have to be redecked.
But Matt having the collection of American tracks he has, I could see him with that or something similar at some point in the future for sure.
So that'd be awesome. Road trip.
Yeah.
Road
Yeah,
trip.
I would like to go out to. I have. I think that'd be a cool place to visit to race for like a maybe a couple day vacation and a race. Hang out in Colorado.
That's one state I've never raced in is Colorado.
Yeah, no, me either. And his raceway is not that far from the airport from what I've seen either. So.
I've been to the airport a few times, but I've never
Right.
been in Colorado for any kind of race.
Right. Right.
Because race, it's kind of weird how, you look at different parts of the country and you got tracks but no organized racing. And,
Right.
You go to other parts of the country, you got all this organized racing going on. So it's just kind of weird that other areas don't try and follow what the other areas that are doing with success and try and do the same thing. But maybe they know they don't have enough racers to travel around or anything like that. So
Yeah.
and that was a race too. I mean, there was a race last weekend, the Rocky Mountain Retro Racing Association. I didn't see any results for that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I would have reported them. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they had a race or not.
Well, I think they did.
Okay.
I think they definitely did, but I didn't see any kind of a race report yet. So.
And heads up, when you guys do your race reports, you need to list some last names and put up pictures of the top 3 guys and stuff like that.
Yeah. Give everybody. I mean,
your credit.
Full credit's it's a pretty easy thing to do, but it means a lot to the people who
means a ton.
Hear their name or see their name online too. Yeah, even if they're not the winner.
Right.
Anytime you can get full names, it's definitely a plus.
And you get exposure on between the lanes.
That's right. Yeah. And and some people send us race reports, but sometimes they do it after the show's over or whatnot. And
we try and fit them in the next week.
We try to fit them in the next week, but I mean, obviously, we're not going to be able to get every race every week in the United States. But
right.
We try to get the big ones and we try not to miss them, but sometimes we miss them. Sometimes the information just isn't out there, but we do the best.
Yeah, because like next month, with the Daytona 500 stuff, there's a lot of Daytona 500 themed
races,
stock car races coming up, and
I
mean they're not big races like a big regional race, but they're big to the racers where they're going to race at. So
yeah, I got like 3 plaque orders I gotta get done, and they're all 3 of them are for different Daytona 500 races.
Right. Well, I know there'll be one at like at up in the Fremont, Ohio area at Denny Murray's place, and I know there'll be one. I know there's one out in Auburn. They run those modifieds and stuff out there on the New England area.
Right.
And then I seen one somewhere else. I don't remember where it was now. Just in the last few days. So
yeah, there's one Miller Place Raceway, which I had never even heard of.
Neither have I. Where's that at?
Ooh, man, that's a good question. I know I can tell you it's run by Ken Vogel.
I know that name, but I don't.
Yeah, but I don't know where.
It doesn't. The name doesn't relate to an area for me.
Miller Place Raceway. It looks like they are on Facebook. It looks like basically it's a Gary Girding built oval.
Okay.
I guess run more of as like a club.
Okay.
Type deal.
Okay.
Doesn't say they have a group you can join on Facebook, but doesn't say where it's at without joining the group.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, man, there's just so many club tracks and home tracks.
Oh, and there's another one in Rochester, New York too.
Yeah.
Fantasy, they have one.
Right. I mean, seems like every week I hear about a new club track or hear a new home track, and I'm like, man, never knew about that, but there's just so many out there, Yep. It'd be so cool if somehow we could get all that organized or a list or something,
Right. We need the Club Association of America.
There you go.
COA.
Yeah, COA. Okay.
The COA and the TOA.
Well, you got anything else this week or what?
No.
Okay.
Anything else?
I can't think of anything, man. I've been so busy. I didn't have a lot of time to put into this week's show personally. I didn't.
Right. Well, and
It's that time of year.
it was late last night when I was going through those TOAs just for you, Ralph, and for our listeners and watchers.
Oh, we all appreciate it too. Thank you.
I don't know how exciting the TOA history is to most racers, but now you know a little more.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, see, that's the thing. Is some people, and probably mainly the younger people, is they're like, we don't care about that, right?
Right.
A lot of our older guys, they like that because they were racing then.
Right.
Like memories, right? But the other important thing too is like now it's putting it out on video to be seen far into the future,
Right. Well,
so,
I think that so
I think it's important to have these boring shows. They're boring to some people, but I think it's important to still have them.
Okay, so two quick stories, and one's really not a story, but
Okay.
one of the best parts about the TOA magazine is the covers and kind of going through. So I didn't go through every one. I had no time for that. But all the different tracks that there were in the 90s, like different type hill climbs, and, like when we do the show on the modern track builders down the road here, the history of that, I got some good material for that. I mean, I got some great material out of those magazines I didn't even think about. But you just talked about videos and stuff, and I'll give you an example. Last week when we was down there at Tri-State Raceway on Friday, I'm in there practicing and stuff, and then I'm kind of talking to Rick Blackson, and this one gentleman comes over who's a friend of one of the drag racers. And he was there a couple weeks earlier, and he shot about a 20-minute video of the drag racing. It was just a regular weekly night program.
Okay, right.
And I should have remembered this, but anyway, he put that up on YouTube. Okay, and within 3 weeks' time, he had 250,000 views.
Wow, that's great.
Okay.
That's awesome.
And I asked him, I said, did you share this? Like, did you put this on your Facebook page and people started sharing it? And he says, well, yeah, I did put it somewhere on Facebook. And I'm thinking somebody, people just must have kept sharing it to show it to people. Like, check out this cool. And I think it might have got onto some real drag racing pages. And those guys were like, wow, check out these little cool drag cars.
Right.
So, I mean, it's kind of like good exposure for us.
Yeah, and and I've seen multiple times, like Street Outlaws, the popular TV show on Discovery. A lot of the cast members obviously have their own Facebook pages and whatnot.
Right.
But I've seen multiple times that like guys like Big Chief or Sean or Daddy Dave, like they post pictures of people who have built slot cars to look like they're real cars. They put them on their Facebook page all the time.
Okay. Yeah, because see, that's like the other night on Facebook, YouTube. I ran across a video that was made by P.A. Watson a few years back. And it was, I don't even know what, it was about flexi cars, but it wasn't like it was a how-to, or he was just explaining 3 different types of flexi cars and the bodies that they raced on. And it was
on YouTube?
Yeah, it was on YouTube.
Okay.
And it was, I think it might have been made in 2013. And it might have been a 20-minute video, but it had like, I don't know, 20,000 views or something.
Do you remember the DVD that was made, speaking of wing car racing, I think it was made out of Buena Park.
Yeah, it was
Punching the Donut.
Yeah, it was. I never seen that, but that
okay.
That was made at one of the Nats out there.
Yeah, is that the Nats? I got a copy of that. That's semi-interesting for what it was back in the day.
Right. And then there's another.
I wonder if somebody's uploaded that to YouTube.
And I think Nesta did a video too about D3.
Okay.
And had like they interviewed Stubby and I think Sucrus and some other guys. And
I've seen the Mike Stubbe chassis building DVD.
Okay. And maybe I'm confused, but I think that Nesta also made a second DVD about some of the 60 superstars.
Okay, I haven't seen that one.
I think.
Okay.
I could be totally wrong, and maybe but someone had told me that there was a DVD floating around out there like that.
Okay.
But I've never seen it. I got a bunch of videotapes from back in
And, you know, Chris Barnes did some DVDs of the R4s, too.
Yeah, he did, I think,
How many years he
three
did
or four of those. I've got all those.
Yeah.
So, but those were never uploaded to YouTube.
Right.
So, well, maybe I should talk to him and see if we can get them uploaded to our channel, and then people can watch them.
Sure. Right.
Anything else we can find, maybe. It's just, add to the library.
Basically, yeah. I mean, that's what's going on, you know.
Information and history.
Yeah.
Information and history.
So, did you slack off, or did you think of a secret word of the show this week?
I had a strategy for that this week, and I already forgot to do it. So
no, we forgot it was a good plan, but we forgot
it was a great plan, but I forgot to do it when I was going to do it. But and see, I don't remember what the secret word was going to be, but the secret word will be. Why don't you pick the secret word this week?
Ooh. I was just gonna say I need to renegotiate my contract. I never get to pick a secret word of the show.
You don't?
Well, I don't think I ever have.
Why don't we just go like?
Well, you put me on the spot now.
I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna do Checkpoint Cup.
There you go. That works.
That's like secret 2 words because Checkpoint's 1 word, but.
See, that's why you get all the big bucks on the show.
Yeah. My cup overrunneth with big bucks.
There you go. Checkpoint Cup.
Checkpoint Cup will be it because that's the big 10-year anniversary this week for them.
Yeah, that's cool. They're coming up on 10 years too.
Durand might get his name on there for the 20th time or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean I don't know how many times he's won.
He's on there a bunch. He's on there.
Obviously, he's one of the favorites.
Oh yeah,
to win anything at Buena Park.
Right. Sure. I mean, there's a lot of big names on that cup. I mean, Gorski's on there, and Matt Bruce and Jay Kisling, and of course, and I don't know who else because
I imagine Alex is probably on there. I don't know. I don't know if did Gorski ever win or Howie.
Gorski won 1 year out there. I think it was a Checkpoint Cup, unless he won a Western States or something. But then
Howie maybe.
I don't think Howie's ever won out there. And another one would be James Grinstead. I think he's won the Retro Angle Winder class a couple times. And there's probably some other people I'm forgetting, but 10 years along. I think Warmack's on there, I'm sure.
I'm sure, yeah.
So, 10 years, a lot of people have raced at that race in 10 years.
Yeah.
So, it'd be like name all the winners of the R4s.
Wow.
I could give you some names, but I don't think I could give you every single one.
Ooh, yeah. It depended if you counted like the coupe and the FK class. That would make it hard.
Right. Well, yeah, you'd have to count those.
Yeah, I mean you can name the obvious ones, but
right,
it would probably be tough coming up with those.
1 year there was a stock car race, and 1 year there was a jail door race, and 1 year there was a flexi race.
I know who won the stock car race. I remember that.
Who won that?
That would have been James Merriman.
That's right.
Yes.
Who was second?
Jay Gard.
Who was third?
I don't know, actually.
I was.
Were you? Oh, yeah. I was going to guess you. I was going to.
Yeah, I was third.
Wow. So, I don't know. We got problems if we remember that, really, but we've got problems.
No. Well.
What year was that?
Oh, that would have been
2000.
I'm gonna say it was 2011.
11? Okay. Yeah.
Now you gotta go look it up, and make sure I'm right.
Well, it was definitely not 2012 because they did not run stock cars because I got the race poster behind me.
Okay.
So it would have had to been probably 11. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said 11, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think 2012 was the first year they split up GTP class or GTC class, or what do you want to call it, GT Coops,
Well,
because we ran pro and we ran non-pro, and because I'm pretty sure Flexi was the first year, and I'm thinking Geldor was the second year. It might have been 2010. Might have been 20. It was either 2010 or 2011.
well, because okay, so it says the 2011 champions. You have Tom Lauterbach winning GT Coupe, Ron Hirschman winning Formula One, and Matt Bruce winning Can-Am. Doesn't say stock car. Doesn't mean we didn't run stock car. Maybe they left it off the poster.
They never put because they never put the Geldor winner on.
Yeah. Okay.
It was just the winner of the three classes got on the poster.
Gotcha.
So it had to be 2010 or 2011.
You guys got on the wanted poster.
Wanted poster.
Wasn't there one with you out there that, like somebody did a wanted poster one time?
Yeah, I'll have to dig that out.
I forget. What was that for? That was a long time ago.
That was for the year that I swept. Me and Randy swept at the R4. He won the.
Okay, yeah.
See, there you go. First year was Flexi. Second year was JK Spec. The third year was Geldor, and 2011 was stock cars.
Okay.
So 2011 was a stock car race.
God, wow. I can't believe it was 6 years ago already.
6 years ago.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I forgot about the JK Spec. Yeah, because in 2009 I won Coupe, Can-Am, F1, and Randy won JK Spec. And then there was a picture of me and him, and he's holding the broom. And
it's right behind you.
Yep. Mike Patterson made the this shit has got to stop.
That's what it said, yeah. This shit has got to stop.
It was like the newspaper headline, looked like a newspaper.
Right, yeah. That was pretty funny.
Devil Spawn and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It was an early, what's the word, meme or meme?
Yeah, meme.
It was an early one.
Yeah.
Before we had them. Did we even have Facebook then? I guess we did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Facebook was around.
Okay.
Facebook has been around since.
Well, I think I got on Facebook in 2008. And I don't know how long it was around before then.
Well, it was around for a while, but it wasn't like it was now because, it was started just for like people who are in college.
Right.
To keep up with each other. So it was around for longer than most people realize.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's all I got. I got to get off here, and I got to go eat some Tide Pods. So.
Tide Pod. Well, when I was a kid, we had to eat out of the box.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't have it in pods yet.
Yeah, you sprinkle it on spaghetti like Parmesan cheese because
right.
Regular box detergent.
Made great sprinkles on donuts.
That's right.
All right, Ralph. Enough fun.
All right.
So,
all right. We'll see you guys on episode 24
next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
If we make it that far.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good weekend. Good luck at the races. Be safe.